Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Be a Better Landlord. I'm Harrison, and today we're going to talk about a topic that I hear from a lot of landlords, which is they're always limiting the amount of people that could rent their property before they even post it. According to online surveys, about 90% of renters have pets. I've heard plenty of stories of landlords not even knowing their tenant has a pet. Why is this important? Because when you allow pets in your rental property, you're expanding the pool of potential tenants to a really large amount of people. When you don't allow pets, you're now narrowing it to a really select group of people. And oftentimes, people with pets are willing to pay a little more because they know they have this hurdle with a lot of landlords. So let's first talk about pet deposits. Pet deposits are refundable amounts that you collect before the tenant moves in. They're often determined by the size and type of pet, the number of pets, the property location. Some states have different laws and some cities have different laws. And these are used to protect landlords from pet damage. Sometimes a pet will rip up a carpet or stain it. There's sometimes odors. Sometimes they create holes in drywall or scratches on doors, floors, or even walls. These are good tools for landlords to use to keep a tenant accountable if there's any damages from their pet. So with a pet deposit, what happens if the pet doesn't do any damage? Well, then the tenant gets their money back when they move out. Some states limit the amount that landlords can charge for pet deposits, impacting the amount that you can collect before they move in. So the next thing we'll talk about after pet deposits is, what is a pet fee? Pet fees are actually different. These are non-refundable one-time charges that a tenant will pay when they have a pet. These cover the general wear and tear that a pet might cause to your property. This includes things like paying for cleaning in advance, maintenance repairs, any damage to the property that just happens with wear and tear that's expected. These are determined by the same factors that we talked about for pet deposits, like location, types of pet, how many pets there are. So it always depends on your local laws when setting pet fees. You can charge both a pet deposit and a pet fee in most states. The final area that you can charge a tenant for is called pet rent. This is rent paid monthly for the pet to live at the property. This can be a good way to increase your income and consider a pet application and screening to make sure the pet rent is worth it. This can also help protect you against damage if the pet causes any in your property. And like deposits and fees, the number of pets, types of pet, and sizes can impact the amount you charge for pet rent. So, are pets a good idea? Well, like most things, it depends on what you want. Are you trying to market a property in a remote area where there's not a large tenant pool? Allowing pets is a really good idea then, and protecting your property with things like a pet deposit, pet rent, and pet fees are a good way to protect yourself if there are any damages. Is your property in a really popular location with lots of hard surfaces and is a durable place? Then I think pets are still an opportunity because there's less things to damage, but it's more of a 50-50 for me personally. Do you have a lot of people in the area that could rent your place and your property has a lot of carpets and things like that? Then I'd probably stray away from pets because I have a lot more people to choose from and a property that might not be suited well for pets. At the end of the day, it really just depends on your situation and how much you want to charge for potential pet deposits or potentially the rent overall. So let's say you're considering working with a tenant that has pets. How can TurboTenant help you? Well, the most important part that we talked about is creating a great lease agreement that clearly outlines pet deposits, pet fees, and pet rent. And TurboTenant will create a state-specific lease agreement for your property to include all of that language to protect your property. Then we make collecting all those fees and monthly rent really easy with our automated rent collection processes. The next thing to do is like our channel and subscribe so you can continue to learn how to be a better landlord. And more importantly, go to TurboTenant.com and sign up for a free account and start marketing your property today.